Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Simone here. So today I'm going to be doing a video which is going to be my top 5 books that I read because of Booktube. And basically this is just a video where I talk about all the books that I've been inspired to read or have been recommended to me by watching Booktube videos or speaking to people in the community. Now, I've read a lot of books from Booktube recommendations or because I've watched them, but these are the ones that I think were my favourites. I've actually realised that I don't own any of these 5 anymore because I'm not somebody that really keeps books. Like this lot behind me is all books I haven't read yet, and I don't really keep books. Like I have about 10 books down beside me here that I've actually kept that I want to keep. Like I've obviously kept the Harry Potter series, and there are other ones that I keep just because I know that I'll probably reread them, but generally I'm not somebody that keeps books. I use the library, so if I want to reread something I'll probably just get it from the library. So my first one is a bit of a cheat because it's actually 2 books, but it's an author that I discovered, and that was Rainbow Rowell. Now I've talked about her a lot on my channel more recently, but basically I discovered her last year because I watched Booktube videos and everybody sort of talked about her, and I read 2 of her books last year. I read Fangirl, which I love, and I also read Eleanor Park, which I also really love. These are both, these are kind of all YA books, I think, the ones I'm talking about, but so Eleanor Park was the first one I read, I believe, and this I read on the train on the way to see my boyfriend, and so it was quite nice because I went on holiday there to see him for a week, and so it kind of reminds me of that. This is a book about a boy and a girl who basically meet one day on the school bus, and the girl is kind of a new student. She, obviously Eleanor, is kind of quirky, a bit strange. Park is a boy who's been at the school for a while, and she sits next to him on the bus, and he lets her borrow his comic, and then it goes from there. They kind of have this kind of relationship, and it's about first love, and it's beautiful, and I really love it. I know a lot of people think it's quite like romance heavy, but for me I really like the kind of discovery of how they fall in love for the first time. I really love that, and yeah, that's just one of my favourite books, so I really enjoy that. And then there's Fangirl, which again I've talked about a lot. Fangirl is a book about this girl who goes to university for the first time, and she's away from home and away from her twin sister, and she loves writing fan fiction, and she's got like social anxiety and doesn't really want to go out and be around other people, but yeah, it's about her and the guy that she likes, and yeah, it goes from there. I love this book. It's genuinely one of my favourite books. In fact, one of the books I'm planning on reading soon is Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. This is basically, in Fangirl, the main character writes fan fiction about this series. I think that's how it works. So Rainbow Rowell wrote the book that it was based on, I think, which is really cool because I'm looking forward to reading this, and yeah, I'll let you know in another video what I think about this one. So the second one is another book that I've never heard of before I watched Booktube, and that is Cinder by Marissa Meyer. This is the first book in the Lunar Chronicles series. I've only read the first one and I really want to read the rest. There's another 3, I think, after this one. I believe there's Cress, Winter and Scarlet, not in that order though. I really want to read them. Basically this is a retelling of Cinderella, but Cinderella, or Cinder as she is in this, is a cyborg, and it's amazing. I adore this book. I really love the main characters. I love the little robot, I think her name's Aiko, something like that. Love it. I think it's fantastic, and I cannot wait to read the next one. So the third book that I want to talk about is Looking for Alaska by John Green. Now I'd read The Fault in Our Stars before I started my Booktube channel, and I'd loved it, but I never really thought about reading any other books by John Green, and then when I watched, I can't remember whose video it was I watched, but I watched a video which talked about Looking for Alaska and how it was really good, and I actually read Paper Towns first, I believe, and really didn't like it, so I sort of got put off a bit by John Green, and then somebody said that Looking for Alaska was a lot better than Paper Towns, and I loved it. Alaska's one of my favourite characters in YA books that I've read. It's basically about a boy who goes to a boarding school and meets this girl Alaska, and it's about their kind of like them getting to know each other, and then something really bad happens, and it's about what happens after that. This book made me cry quite a lot, and I don't really cry at books. I didn't even cry in Harry Potter when Dobby died. Sorry if that's a spoiler, but I didn't cry then, so I just can't, like, but this one really made me cry. It was really sad, and I loved the way it was dealt with. I thought it was really respectful, but really kind of like true to life, like it would actually be like that. So yeah, I love that. Next up is Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins, which I really loved this book. This is the first book in a trilogy of like companion books. There's Anna and the French Kiss, Lola and the Boy Next Door, and Isla and the Happily Ever After. The one, Anna was definitely my favourite one for me. It was the first one obviously, and I love it. It's basically about a girl who gets put into a French boarding school, and she meets this boy called Etienne St. Clair who has a girlfriend already. She starts to have feelings for him, and it's kind of their relationship and how it goes. It's really good. It also talks a lot about the fact she likes to write, she has a blog that she writes like movie reviews on, which I thought was really interesting because I love reading about people blogging or YouTubing. Like, it just makes me really like smile because I can kind of relate to that. I loved this book and I definitely would recommend it. And the last one is A Great and Terrible Beauty by Libba Bray. But basically this book follows the main character who after the death of her mother goes to an English boarding school. Do you notice that most of these have boarding schools in? I think there's probably a theme there. But basically the main character goes to an English boarding school when her mother dies in India, I believe. And she kind of meets this group of girls who want to find out about things that happened in the past. Something happened at the school that they don't really understand. And just before her mother died, she had these visions that her mum was going to die, and then it came true. So this is kind of like a magical realism, I guess is what they call it. I'm not entirely sure. I loved this. It was very different to anything I'd ever read, but it was very kind of refreshing because I'd not read anything like it before, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, that is my thoughts on that one. So that was my top 5 books I read because of Booktube. I hope that you liked this video. Let me know in the comments below what your favourite books are that you've discovered from watching Booktube, if you do, which I like to think that you do if you're watching my channel. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys!